You know it's the end of the year when magazines give out awards to get publicity for their dying industry. The whole point, free press, which sells more copies. It's true, you do get the press, but I doubt it sells copies. First, GQ made Colin Kaepernick Citizen of the Year for obviously taking the knee. He got the press, but he drove NFL viewers away. GQ seems poised to copy him. Then there's Glamour. Glamour naming Linda Sarsour as one of their Women of the Year. Sarsour champions Sharia law and once brutally mocked women brave enough to challenge it, including a victim of female genital mutilation. How is that pro-women? Who's doing Glamour's research? Hamas? So why would editors make such choices? Well, they're not just expressing admiration. They're desperate to publicly express their own moral correctness, elevating their position among their liberal peers. It's, please see how aware I am of social justice issues. Such actions bring good feelings from the identity politics set, but it's a political sugar rush. The feeling fades fast, and then you're left alone and broke. Case in point, look at Teen Vogue. Don't look at it. After deciding to embrace progressive politics, they had to close its print edition, costing 80 jobs, all for a desperate stab at social relevance. I tell GQ to learn from that mistake, but judging from their past political stances, I doubt they'd listen. They put the ass in ascot. So anyway, what are your thoughts, Dana?
Well, I was going to ask you, like, does this kind of thing work for them? Because you know the publishing industry better than most. Like, if you do this, you
it's
get
a way to maybe try to get some cachet with advertisers to see how relevant they are. But you're alienating half your audience right then and there. There's a lot of guys, GQ who are into football who are ticked off. There are women. I'm sure. Well, I don't know who reads Glamour anymore. I stopped reading it.
No.
What about the pictures? Don't you read it for the pictures?
I get it for the makeup tip.
Oh,
cover up my mustache.
Great
They have a whole
makeover.
section on covering up mustaches.
I guess it isn't that surprising. It's like when Time does their Person of the Year. It's usually something that's a little bit edgy. Or remember when they did
edgy to them. Edgy to them.
Ed Snowden as Person of the Year. But I thought it was interesting that he declines to do interviews. He didn't do an interview for this piece. He's basically letting it ride.
Right.
He's got an exclusive.
Got to move her, Jesse.
Yes, I'm going to invoke the View rule, which is I would like to be in GQ one day, so I'm not going to come down too hard on the magazine.
You will never be in GQ. Take that as a compliment. You will never be in GQ.
Oh, too bad. Well, maybe if I do, I'm going to hold out hope. But I will say, in general, that what they do is the left will lionize these America haters. And like a Cindy Sheehan, or the guy that was on the cover of Rolling Stone, the Boston bomber, or a Keith Olbermann, or someone like that. And they'll be the flavor of the month, and the media will milk them, and they'll profit from them, and then they'll just discard them, and then, they'll be in the left-wing media hall of fame. But these awards don't mean anything anymore as they used to, because you said in the monologue the industry's dying. But what kind of citizen was Kaepernick this year? He didn't work. He was unemployed, and the only thing he did was sue the NFL. J.J. Watt, he, I think, raised $37 million for hurricane victims.
Right.
That's a lot of money. I don't know how much Kaepernick donated. Oh, wait, actually, I found something. Kaepernick donated $25,000 to a group that celebrates cop killers. So if you put that on balance, I really just don't see who the real citizen of the year is.
J.J. Watt.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, this is, to me, I can't even believe they made this choice. But then again, like you said, when you look at Rolling Stone with Tsarnaev, et cetera, so it just seems very sensational and just really trying to be self-promotional, shock value. And then, like you said, he didn't interview for it, but he provided connections to friends and people that could talk for him. He didn't want to provide any quotes. Okay, he posed for the picture, et cetera. Okay, great. He still doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Juan, I can understand Kaepernick to a degree because raising the issue, which is everybody loves. But Sarsour, I mean, Glamour is supposed to be, a feminist magazine. They claim to be for women, and they're elevating a woman who thinks Sharia law is the way to go. Crazy.
To me, that's crazy. But I must say, the reason that they're putting her out there is not what you're citing. It's because she was an organizer of that large march back in January, anti-Trump, women's march.
But you can't parcel it out. She's still for Sharia law.
I mean, you can't just say, she did this.
No, but I think this is, in other words, they are focusing on the fact that she has become a major organizer. She's an American-born Palestinian of Palestinian
descent. She's a fascist.
And she is somebody who has been now, as a pretty young age, rising up as a star in terms of the women's movement.
Fascist star.
Well, that's
they're misguided. It seems ill-informed.
Moment, when we're talking about women as a major political
force, you don't need this kind of woman, female leader.
Fine.
Women do not need somebody. If you ever heard what she said about these Muslims, it would make you sick.
I would agree, because it involves the mutilation stuff, which is just beyond my tolerance. But I must say that I think we have a different point of view on Kaepernick, because when GQ honored Kaepernick, they said, and some of his friends say, this is a guy that would be making millions, and therefore he's given up money. He would be prominent. He'd have a job, right? And he's given that up, right? So he has been self-sacrificing from the magazine, from his friend's point of view. And I think people put him in line with people like Muhammad Ali, who gave up 3 years in his prime to protest.
He's just self-destructive. He's self-destructive, and he wants to be a starter. We'll put up numbers like a starter, and then maybe somebody would, pay you and play you.
Well,
you ruined the 49ers, which I'm still mad about.
I know.
But that's not fair, because, in fact, he's better than people who are being hired right now to play football.
All right, I got to go. By the way, I just got drafted.
The NFL isn't an entitlement program. Not everybody gets to be a starting QB.